Welcome back. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Currently, it is 7:24 a.m., and I am back where it all started. If you're familiar with this entire season or series, um, first episode, I was out here. Last episode, I'm out here. So, yes, this is episode 9. This is going to be the official last episode of season 1. I'm excited. I actually am very excited to close out this season. And I'll tell you why in a second. But first, hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. I hope that you are having a great moment, and I'm grateful to being a part of that moment. Um, that was something I wanted to make sure I said because I remember one of those episodes of the season I was talking about that, and I said, yeah, no, I don't just want to say good morning, good evening, afternoon, good moment. I want to meet you in that moment. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of the moment that you're listening to this, the time that it takes you to listen to this episode. I appreciate that. So, if you aren't familiar with this series, this podcast, my name is Phenix. Um, my real name is Nehemiah. My not my middle name. Get it right, Neo. My friend given name is Neo, and my name that I gave myself is Phoenix. And a lot of times, like I think we look in media and we see people, and no one has, not no one, many people don't go by their, you know, name that they had at birth. A lot of people tend to go with a name that they have created for themselves or was based off of the people around them, typically, So um, I was born Nehemiah. My friends gave me the name Neo as I came up into, young adulthood. And then in my adulthood, Phoenix was the name that I got. So I always told y'all that I was going to explain what my name meant, like why I have the name Phoenix, right? Because it's a Phoenix, there's no O in it. There's a message behind this. So there was an event called, for those who do not know, I went to Virginia Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia for undergraduate. And I did not complete a full degree there. I completed around 60 credit hours, so 2 years of my education at that institution. And during my time there, I was involved with some things on campus, primarily an organization called BASE, Black Art Student Empowerment. And in this organization, um, we did many, many, many things, right? We hosted events. I was the programming coordinator for 4 years, actually. Well, 3 years programming coordinator, 1 year PR chair. That's neither here nor there because like I said, I only went there for 2 years, but I was able to do everything for 4 years. So, yeah, do the math. Um, but yeah, we did a lot of events, and most of the time, I was the one that was really coming up with the ideas and things for the events as the program coordinator, with the help of the team. And there was an event that we did during the virtual age of things, called Black Voices Matter, and it was just an event to uplift the Black voices in our immediate vicinity, right? So. Um, there were a lot of people that we were able to contact to be a part of the event and to sing and to speak and to um, spit poetry and all those different things. And so this was the first event that I actually spit poetry. And the poem that I did at that time was called Rise Like a Phoenix. And it was Phoenix with the O. So it was the actual Phoenix. And this was the very first time that I debuted myself as any type of poet, doing any type of spoken word. And it was actually very fun. It was a very dope experience. Shout out to my co hosts at the time, um, M. Camara and Bree Madden Olivares. I love y'all so much. And we had a great time hosting that event. But like I said, it was my first time ever debuting myself as an artist within poetry. And it was very eye opening to see that, for one, people liked my poetry. For two, I was actually able to feel confident in my ability to create, not just, you know, say that you're an artist, but mean it when you say you're an artist. And at that time, for me, um, I think I was just very insecure in my ability to create because I had created a short film my very first year there. And by this time, that event happened, I want to say in year three, um, of me being within base and working there. But in the first year, literally my first semester of being in the organization, I created a short film. And after that point, I had not produced a single um, bit of artwork. And it was very, very discouraging. It was very, you know, esteem breaking because I definitely was not confident in my ability to be an artist, like to be even called an artist when I'm around all these people that are doing such great things and consistently. And for me, I just didn't feel like I lived up to that status. And so when I did that, it just unlocked something in me, and it really boosted my confidence and my ability to create. And so from there, I just kept soaring. Um, but that name didn't stick that day, right? Phoenix didn't stick that day because obviously something different. But fast forward, maybe about a year or so, I am going through some things and whatnot, and I am here in this space out here where I am currently. That year, I was dealing with some very, very difficult things. Um, I guess that was like a year plus, maybe. But it was a year that my grandfather had died, and one thing that was prominent to my mind was grief, right? It was just something that I was dealing with. I was grieving, I was mourning. And for me, time had passed since he had passed, and at least a year because we had a memorial for him in that July. And that same year was when I was really having my heavy moment of grieving. And it's because I had held in so much emotion for so long for the strength of my family, and to be there, to be that support. But also because I was already dealing with other things in general, right? I had a whole bunch of business related things going on. And so that was really taking up a lot of my time. So preoccupied with those things, I wasn't able to fully unpack and really deal with my grief. And so that moment in that fall into the wintertime was really when I felt the bulk of it. And it was really jarring. It was a lot of emotion, a lot of sorrow, and a lot of numbness for sure. So I went through a lot during that period. And for my personal self, I felt like I was disconnected from my spirituality and from, what I was used to believing in. And, I don't know if anyone can relate to growing up as a Christian. You are, you know, basically placed I think any religion that you're grown up in, you're placed into this religion upon birth based off of whatever your parents believe in, because your parents are whoever raises you, because not everyone is raised by their parents. Um, However, you're in that environment. That's the environment that you naturally, are driven to, and that you have an affinity with because of your family. And you know, eventually, you create your relationship with whatever higher power you believe in, or your family has believed in, because of that. For me, because that relationship was not the strongest, it was relying upon my family and specifically my immediate family. That relationship was severed for me. And I wrote something about that at that time, and I'll probably share that with y'all soon, sometime, but later, not this episode. But that relationship that I had with my higher power was severed because of this specific situation, and it was very, very difficult to pull myself out of this thing. And I think um, I'm thankful for my support system for helping me through those things and being there to support me when I really, really, really needed it. And even for myself and my higher power working through that, it was a lot. And so overall, I was able to be reborn out of what transpired at those times. And that rebirth was given the name Phoenix, um, because it birthed something in me to really be intentional about my journey of growth and self development. Overall, this is what I talk about here. I talk about these different things, and that's what something that you can expect from this podcast moving forward is just to talk about growth, self development, giving the raw, the real, be authentic, um, surrounding multiple aspects of my journey. And I'm just going to be speaking on here. Sometimes I'm going to share a story. Sometimes I'm going to share some knowledge. Sometimes I'm going to, share a rant about something that I may be feeling or going through, because it's all real. It's all significant to my lifestyle and the journey that I've experienced through life. Um, so yeah, that name came out of that. Phoenix became Phoenix because of that rebirth, but also when I look back, I remember and recall the creative rebirth that I had when I said that poem. And so Rise Like a Phoenix, it was just so prolific to a lot of what I experienced because typically I'm a Scorpio. Typically Scorpios have this rebrand constantly. So we're constantly having this Phoenix, what do you call that? This persona of a phoenix because we oftentimes will come up from the ashes. And so it was like me rising from the ashes. I took the O out because I didn't want too many things that related to my name that I previously had, which was Neo. Still something that I claim, but I wanted it to really be unique to its own self, and it already had an N and an E in it. So I was like, nah, we need to take the O out because one letter more, and now we in the same name. But I also like it because 6 letters. Um, my first name has 8 letters. My Neo has 4, and then this one has 6. Phoenix, if you take out the P and the IX and flip it around, you have the first 3 letters of my name, and then PIX is left, which is also another word for pics or pictures. And I thought that was really dope, really creative. It was something that was just kind of, you know, um, a coincidence, so to say, based off of the name that I chose because I take pictures. That's one thing that I do creatively in my business. So um, it all kind of just fit and it stuck. So now that's who I am. That's the explanation surrounding Phoenix. I wanted to tell that story for one because I promised it before the season was over. I wanted to explain that. So what better way to end the season with that specific story? But I also want to reiterate and go back into the theme of this entire season, which is um, pretty much unlearning perfectionism, and really unpacking that, right? And we're just talking about it. We're having dialogue and discourse surrounding perfectionism and why we don't have to be perfect, or we shouldn't have to strive to be perfect. Again, I always say this: we are not perfect beings. We are progressing in our journeys, and striving to be perfect oftentimes gets you in worse situations than just striving to develop yourself further in from where you were yesterday. You know, and that's what it's about. I have recognized within me trying to be perfect. That Phoenix was like the epitome of me trying to be perfect. I recognize that, beforehand, the reason why I hadn't coined myself an artist and felt that confidence was because I was trying to be perfect. I was trying to say, oh, perfection looks like the people around me making art consistently, able to produce this work. And I have a different medium. At the time, I was primarily focused on film. So obviously, film takes some time, but I was expecting myself to perform the way that I did before. And even my first short film was not perfect. I saw the flaws, and I think that's also something that scared me was that I could, after I made it, so confident in what I made, produced it, and people said it was good, me rewatching it from a place of growth, because I took some classes within the film space and all that, and I was like, dang, this jump was not what I thought it was, but it was at the time. It served its purpose at the time to really push me forward. I created that short film. Excuse me. I wrote it in 4 hours. I shot it in 2 weeks, right? And I want to I'm thankful for everyone that was a part of that project. Y'all were just dope. Kayla, Corey, Kelsey, Julian, all y'all. Love y'all dearly. I appreciate everyone that was a part of that project. If I'm forgetting anybody, hold it to my head, not my heart, because that was a long time ago. But I did that project, and looking back on it, I'm very proud. Today, looking back, I'm very proud. 3 years looking back, I was like, what the heck did I make? Because you have different perspectives of your situation. And so I want to challenge everyone that's listening, you know, whatever you're going through, whatever your situation is currently, right? The present moment. If you are looking at this from a place that is negative, I challenge you to find the positive perspective, not the positive outlook, the perspective, right? And when I say perspective, I mean your situation that you're in, you're sitting in it, right? You are feeling this situation like it is dire, and for some, it may be dire, and I really hope that whatever you're going through, um, you have the most peace through whatever it is, because you could be going through some very serious things, and I never want to invalidate your experience or what you're going through. So that's important. I wish you love. I wish you peace. Um, However, I want you to take your situation, right? And I want you to see it from a perspective that's outside of being inside the situation, right? Validate how you feel because I feel is important to, you know, just vocalize. But I want you to look at the situation and recognize that, hey, there's another perspective. There's another way that I can look at this situation. When you look at life from a perspective of gratitude, life will truly present you with so much that you didn't know was possible because you were always looking from a place of lack. That place of lack, that mindset set of lack will truly keep you in that same place. But when you're allowing gratitude into your space, into your situation, you will see results that will be worthy of gratitude. It's just the basic perspective shift that can change your reality because you're changing your perspective. You are now on an opposite side of something that was worse, right? It's the vibrations. They were talking about low vibrational plates. Yeah, because there is low vibrations. There are high vibrations. There are low vibrational conversations. There are high vibrational conversations. There's low vibrational perspectives, high vibrational perspectives. Choose your vibration. Choose it, right? But overall, I want us to really just to take a deep dive into our own perfectionism as well. We try to be perfect a lot of the times. Most people, I will say a lot of people that I have spoken with, because I don't want to generalize the population, but a lot of people that I've spoken with have had conversations with me about perfectionism. And I think that's very, very telling of the society that we live in because why do we all have this similar perspective on perfectionism when we were not presented that upon birth? It's because throughout life you're told that you have to fit this specific standard, right? We follow this guideline in school. You either got 100%, and then at the other end of the spectrum, you got a 0% for an F, right? You people are encouraging you to get the highest of the highest, which is a perfect score, and you're awarded for that perfect score, right? But what about the C's? What about the B's? What about the 86s and the 74s? People are feeling like they have to commit to this perfection, this thing of perfection. People have graduated with C's. They graduated with B's. And I don't want to say don't strive for those high scores. Don't strive to be your best. Do your best in what you do. But I don't think it's fair for us to continuously pressure ourselves to fit a perfect model of whatever we're looking at. It's not fair to what we're dealing with, to our situation, because our situation in life is not perfect. Even the most quote unquote perfect situations are not perfect. There's always a flaw somewhere along the way, and I equated it to something earlier in one of the episodes to a bag of chips. You can guarantee that whatever bag of chips you have, there's going to be a chip in there that's going to be broken. It's not going to be perfect. Now, I like to see today that they make a bag of chips that has a perfect fit in there. You know what I'm saying? And when they do, y'all can call me. Y'all can call me and let me know about that. But I have yet to see it myself. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I mean. Everyone is unique to every single situation. Do what you do. Do your best. Try your best, but do what you do. Don't keep striving for this perfection that doesn't exist. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to your mental health. And it's not going to get us anywhere in life trying to always be perfect with everything that we do. That's the bottom line. So yeah, that's the message. I think that was well received. Um, if you want an affirmation to back up what I just said, you could try. I'm not perfect. I am progressing. I'm grateful for everything I currently have. I have everything that I need. I am abundant. I am prosperous. Um, Gratitude is my lifestyle. I'm grateful for the life that I have. I'm grateful for the abundance that I have. If we shift our perspectives, we will soon see that the lack mindset was giving us no room to grow and to obtain abundance because we were always in a place of lack and unappreciation. So yeah, that wasn't an affirmation. That was just a word. But yeah, that's that. That was the message. Yeah, I think that's good. Um, I want to share with y'all the vision for the future. So this is, like I said, that last episode, I got this feeling. I knew it was coming to a close very soon. I just didn't know if we were going to end on episode 11, 10, because I was like, 10 episodes sounds good, but something just said 9, so I was like, okay, cool, I'm going to do 9. That's where I was led. So this is the 9th episode, the last episode of the season. Next season, I'm not going to say when it's going to come out. I'm going to be honest with you because this one, y'all won't know until it drops. Um, However, I will say that I am going to boost up the quality for sure. Bare minimum audio quality, because I was listening back to episode 1 this morning, and I was listening back to it because I wanted to use that for reference, because I wanted to remember what I was talking about that first episode. And I was like, yeah, nah, audio quality sounds horrible. Not horrible, but horrible on there. And not that I'm trying to be perfect, but I do want to be able to give y'all better quality as I'm doing this. This is a travel podcast. Let me reiterate that again. This is a travel podcast. It's a different concept. I don't know if anyone else has done it before. Personally, I have not seen it. I had the idea, and that's what I did. So what I mean by travel podcast is I'm going to be moving around. You might hear from me in my car, which you have already. You might hear from me out here in this space. You have already. You might hear from me at my home, outside, in my front yard, in my backyard, anywhere. In season 2, we are definitely going to be making some bigger strides to travel more. So be prepared for an episode in a different state. My goal is to at least do 2 episodes in 2 separate states outside of Virginia. That is the goal that I have set in place, and I am going to achieve that goal for season 2. But yeah, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to actually do a visual aspect to season 2. Um, this one does not have a visual aspect as of yet. I'm trying to decide how I want to produce this for YouTube because I do want to post this on the YouTube as well so that y'all can have playback there and on Spotify, and other streaming platforms for podcasts. However, because I don't have a visual aspect to this, I have been juggling some options, and I can tell y'all this. I was thinking, by the time y'all see it, that's the crazy part. I won't even have really a say in this because by the time y'all see it, y'all just see it. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell y'all that part. Regardless, season 2 will definitely have at bare minimum the better audio quality. I'm going to use my mic for season 2 instead of my AirPods, because the audio quality is decent, but it's not top tier and crisp like I want it to be. And that's the vision. So season 2, you will see better audio quality. I pretty sure I'm going to do visuals. I'm pretty sure, but we'll see. Don't hold it to my head. If I choose not to, because I can always make a decision not to do that. But again, like I said, I'm not striving for perfection. I'm just striving for progression. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to progress in an upward manner. So I do not want us to forget this thought process. We're unpacking perfectionism. Perfectionism. What the heck? Perfectionism in this season. That's what we were talking about. That's what we went through. Check out the YouTube Phenix at Phenix Speaks. I will be posting some videos there to that are like tailor fit to go with this season. Some of the episodes, like I said, I don't know how far I'm going to go when actually posting the podcast there, but I believe you will probably see some episodes there, if not all of them, maybe 1 or 2 for promo or just a snippet of that on a YouTube short or something. But you will see some footage somewhere. Um, my social media platforms is Phenix.speaks on Instagram. Everywhere else, it should just be Phenix Speaks, Phenix Speaks. Yeah, that's the tag. What else do I need to say, y'all? I'm trying to remember. Sometimes the memory's not good, and I don't have my stuff in front of me. That's something I'm also going to do too. Um, because I've kind of figured out exactly how I want this to flow. I wanted this first season to just be my test run. I did, like I told you before in my first episode, I actually did a podcast a break ago, and I only did one episode. And I've done production and stuff like this before. I've worked with some people to produce podcasts. So I've done scripting and work like that. However, from my own podcast, I said for this first season, I want this to be as unscripted as possible to ensure that my authenticity, see, see, to ensure that my authenticity was portrayed in its true form. I didn't want to feel like I had to perform for you all or had to produce something just to produce something. Every episode was not strategic, other than just to share the messages that I was authentically feeling in those days when I was led. I haven't recorded this on a specific schedule, so it's not like I say, oh, Tuesday, Thursday, I'm recording this episode. It's just if I feel led to record, I'm going to record it. Now, season two, there might be some more structure there, especially with just the flow of the podcast. I do want to be able to limit um, some of my time so that way I'm ensuring that y'all can listen to this in a good fashion. I don't want y'all listening to 15, 30-minute episodes, you know what I'm saying? Unless y'all want to, unless you want to, that's your prerogative. But I know that some of these episodes are ranging from 30, 20, 15, I don't know, 10 minutes. You know, you have a lot of different time frames. And so I want to give y'all a realistic perspective on that. You are going to see some other things that I'm working on as well within Phenix Speaks brand. Um, there's more than just this. With my Instagram, if you aren't already hip, get on there. There's other content that's already being posted that has been posted for quite some time now. So you have a wide variety of input and things that I can give you within my brand, right? Overall, my Instagram, the way I'm tailor fit for Phoenix Speaks, I'm your accountability partner. And the accountability could be anything. It could be on your health and fitness and wellness journey. It can be accountability with just lifestyle and holding yourself accountable to showing more grace to yourself daily. It could just be accountability to really show up for yourself on a daily basis. You know, whatever I may experience, whatever I feel led to, I will share. And I also want to be able to hear from y'all and hear the input, hear the feedback. I want to hear what y'all want to see. You know, what do y'all want to hear about? I have a lot to share. I have a lot to give, and I want to make sure that I'm not hoarding knowledge and wisdom and experience because of fear. That's the big thing. You know, I don't want to be afraid to share stuff. I want to be able to share these things so that we all can grow and learn together. You know, we all have life lessons, and what better way to experience um, some teaching moments than to hear it from someone else that you can relate to, or someone that you don't even really know that doesn't hold that much of a personal attachment to you, and you can receive it better. Sometimes it's so weird. I've experienced this before, where people will literally not listen to you, and they're close to you, they know you, they trust you, and they will not listen to your advice, but go to somebody else that they really don't know like that. They don't hang around them on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? Those type of people, and they will listen to them. I don't know what it is, and I'm not going to judge. I'm tired of wasting my energy and being exhausted from conversations like that. Do what you're gonna do. I'll still be here to support where I can, but I'm not gonna exert my energy so much and then have this expectation that you're gonna take my advice. Take what resonates is what people say on TikTok all the time from different things. So I do want you to take what resonates and utilize to your best resource. This will always be here as a resource for y'all to grow, to learn, and to be better versions of yourself. That's all I want to be able to provide for the world, is for all of us to grow and become better versions of ourselves. So that's that. That's the podcast. All right. Again, I'm out here in my sacred space, like I like to call it. I am going to gatekeep. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm going to gatekeep this. It's my space. I love it. If you know, you know is all I'm going to say, because some people do know. But if you know, you know, it is what it is. I am going to be having a season 2. So we are going to move forward with that. Whenever you hear this episode is when you hear this episode, because I do not know the exact launch date yet, and I'm not going to say it on here because you'll just know when you see it. But I truly, truly am grateful for every single last one of y'all for sticking through this long, for listening to this last episode of season 1. It is a celebration. of commitment and consistency, I will have to say, because I'm proud of myself for sticking through the difficulty in trying to produce this podcast. It was difficult. It was a hard process just to, get up sometimes and do it, but I did it and I stayed true to it. And I'm really, really proud of myself for that. So I'm proud of you for sticking through this entire episode. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. I'm grateful for your support. I'm grateful for your love. Again, you can find me on all platforms. Phenix Speaks or Phenix.speaks on Instagram specifically, but PhenixSpeaks on all other platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and then podcasting platforms as well. Um, I believe so. Don't get me lying, because sometimes you can't find your name, but hopefully I have my name. So yeah, um, I will see y'all. I will listen and hear from y'all on those platforms. But I hope that y'all have an amazing, amazing moment wherever you are, whether it's morning, night, evening, afternoon, 2 a.m., 4 p.m. I hope that you're having a great moment. Hope listening to this brought you some joy, brought you some comfort, it brought you a perspective that you didn't have before. I really hope it did. That's it. I love it here. Season 2 up next. Peace, love, Phenix.